The topic of today is make your own luck. It seems to me that about 25 to 30% of success is based on luck. That doesn't mean that you can't make your own luck. If you're going to go for a job interview, look up the company on the internet. Find out what their product is, who their main customers are, who's their CEO, how many units a day they're producing, what exactly it is that they produce, because very few companies produce only one thing. They usually produce a number of things. That way, when you go for your interview, you can speak intelligently about what the company does. Just as when you are talking to a person, they love to talk about themselves. If you know something about what they do and say, I understand that you're interested in scuba diving, well, they will generally take the bait and they'll talk to you about scuba diving. Same goes for companies. If you say, I saw that you folks make marine plywood, a special category, your interviewer will probably pick that up and run with it. So anyway, do your homework. I actually was not admitted to the UC Berkeley School of Optometry. Now, I have a degree hanging on the wall which says that I graduated from UC Berkeley. So how did that happen? Well, I got a rejection notice from UC Berkeley. I thought about it a bit, got on the phone, and I called the dean's secretary, and said, hey, I'm going to be up in Oakland, and so it wouldn't be much to run over to Berkeley. I can arrange that trip for pretty much any time I want. Is there a time next week or the following week when the dean would be free and I could possibly talk to him? Sharon, that was the dean's secretary, said, well, yeah, it looks to me like Wednesday, first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock would be ideal. And I said, fine, I can do that. And this was in the days when PSA still existed and you could fly to the Bay Area for $40 one way. I immediately picked up the phone, called PSA, made a reservation, and I made the reservation for the 5:30 a.m. departure. That meant that I got into Oakland Airport at 6:30. By the time I got to UC Berkeley School of Optometry, because I took a bus, it was 7:15. I knew from prior college experience that virtually every college has a coffee shop. I figured that if I could find the coffee shop near the School of Optometry, I might be able to get some pointers. Sure enough, there was a coffee shop across the way, of maybe 85, 90 feet away from the School of Optometry in Worcester Hall. So I went over there, got a cup of coffee, and just sat there. I figured sooner or later somebody from the optometry school is going to come in, and I was there by probably 7:15, so I had a good 45 minutes to spare. Sure enough, round about 7:30, some guys came in wearing white shirts and ties. I figured they probably weren't in the architectural school. I went over and said, excuse me, are you students at the optometry school? And they said, yes, we are. I said, well, I have an interview with the dean here in about 30 minutes, and I wonder if you could tell me a few things about it. For the next 20 minutes, I had a cram course in what Dean Hirsch liked and didn't like, what kind of guy he was, what he was interested in. One of the things he was interested in was public health. So then I went over to my appointment, and the first thing I said to the dean was, I wasn't admitted, but I want to know what I could do to get into the next class. He said, well, what kind of things interest you? Well, I learned that he was interested in public health, and I said, well, I figured once I got a degree that I might possibly join the Peace Corps, work with them. He said, you join the Peace Corps? And I said, yeah, I would. And he says, hang on a minute. He calls for his assistant. He says, Don. And Don Hinker, his assistant, walked in, and he says, young Hall here is going to be enrolling in the School of Optometry next year. He'll be in limited status. Just like that, I was in. All because I decided I would make my own luck. If you think about how might I make this thing work in a way that is beneficial to me, a lot of times you can figure out how to make your own luck. Another one is, if you're going into the desert, make sure you carry a jack and something that you can put under the tires to get you out if you get stuck. You don't know if it's going to happen or not, but if it does happen, you're prepared. So there you go. That's one illustration of how it is that you can go about making your own luck. If you run into a problem and you sit and think about it a bit, I'm sure you'll come up with ways that you can create your own luck. Have a nice life. Until next time, we'll see you.